The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is Friday in the rib.
Yes, it is.
And a hot Friday it is, and we've got another 3 or 4, 5 days of this till next Wednesday.
It looks like it's going to run until next Wednesday, which means there'll be a week-long heat wave.
Which was a giant lie, because before they said it was only going to run till Tuesday.
Right.
And now it's Wednesday.
Right.
So every day we keep getting it. But it's been a bit
Hey,
of,
where else can you get a job that you can be wrong 50% of the time and still get paid big money?
The city.
That's true. Speaking of the city.
Speaking of the city. What a segue that was.
The city changed their hours for Government Center.
Yeah.
8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday.
Like
8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Friday.
Yeah. Well, Paul is making this more and more like the school department.
I guess so.
You know, the teachers going around 8 o'clock or so. You know, the school's got to be ready, got to be in a little bit before 8, but they go 8 to 3. So now we go 8 to 4. He doesn't feel at home with those inordinately long hours. You know, he's
like 9 to 5.
Yeah, like 9 to 5. You know, which is more convenient for the average person.
Correct.
Because especially the 5 o'clock thing, because a lot of people get out of work and they run there at the end of their work day to get their business done. But they don't want you to do business. They want to pay everybody a lot of money and have them do nothing. They want you to mail in all your stuff or go to their friends at Bay Coast to do all your stuff. And that's the key. The key is that's what government does. Nothing.
Do you remember when we had 1 day a week where we had extended hours?
Oh, do I remember that?
Okay, yeah. It was like till 7 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
What mayor was that? Was that that wasn't Lambert? That was Was that Flanagan?
I think it may have been Flanagan.
May have been Flanagan.
But I know one thing: the people liked it, so that means they had to get rid of it.
That's right.
Of course.
Because if it works, get rid of it.
If the people enjoy it, get rid of it.
Right.
And that's the thing. Yeah, I noticed the hour change, and of course Paul likes. He doesn't like this thing. Hey, before you know it, they might get the summer off.
They already got summer hours. City Hall might just shut down in the summer. Yeah. Like that's what Paul's used to.
I know. Having a summer off.
Yeah.
We got to make this we got to give big pay raises, get 6 people to screw in a light bulb, and spend as much money as we can. That's what we do. $19,000 pay raises for people.
And once again, the mayor was doing a ceremonious thing this week.
What a surprise.
Imagine that.
What a surprise.
He was down singing songs and honoring Raposo. The creator from Fall River, the musician from Fall River.
Oh, yeah.
The composer who did all the Muppet songs and the Sesame Street songs. And his son came down. By the way, I don't think any of them live in Fall River anymore.
Of course not. Why would they?
They were smart. And they have a display and a whole honorarium down at the Hudner Welcome Center down at Heritage State Park.
Yep.
And they have a movie.
A movie? What a surprise.
A movie to play. Well, no, that's actually very good, because for the longest time,
parade?
That movie theater was not open.
No parade?
No parade.
No parade.
But they had their big opening, and they had their signs and their singing.
Look, Paul loves the camera.
Yep.
That's all he does.
Yep.
We have another firing of a police officer.
Yes, we did.
The police department's in a total state of disarray. We still haven't resolved the issue with the drugs in the drawer. All this going on, and Paul's singing and dancing. I guess he figures since he's done nothing in this term, and there's no COVID to blame, he's got to start singing and dancing like old Eddie Lambert used to do. Remember in the high rises?
He'll never be Eddie Lambert.
No, Eddie was good. I got to give him credit.
Yeah, Eddie was.
He used to sing to those old people in the high rises,
and they would sing with him.
And he used to lead the sing-alongs and dance and everything else. I remember Eddie Lambert, because he's my neighbor. His mother still lives on the property that abuts mine. I remember him when he was in high school. practicing for the dancing, singing and dancing. Him and his brother, they were practicing, getting ready. But he was good at it. So, you know, and he took advantage of it.
That's right.
But that's not what, it segues me into something I wanted to talk about.
There you
Amazing.
go.
That doesn't give you a better life. That doesn't make this a better city. Cutting ribbons and singing songs, and that doesn't do anything. And, you know, I was reminded of that yesterday. I looked at I tape a lot of this stuff. So I taped it, so wasn't yesterday, it was the previous day, a show. And one of the guests was Governor Youngkin from Virginia. I think it might have been Hannity. But it was amazing to listen to the accomplishments he's done in 6 months. Do you know that the people of Virginia, which is a blue state, they finally did see, this is the key. We keep telling you to go to the polls, change these people like diapers, and then they'll get the message. Virginia got the message. They elected this guy because they were sick and tired. They're not like Baltimore, 50 years of Democratic reign, and it's gotten worse every year, and they keep it. Just like Massachusetts, Democratic for, you know, House and Senate forever, and look what we're doing. Listen, legislature of Massachusetts. Youngkin's been in 6 months. And I should have written it down, but I didn't. I was going to go back, but I inadvertently deleted the thing. Get ready. I'm glad you're sitting down. You'll fall down. He actually gave a tax rebate to all the citizens of Virginia.
You mean the ones that the Mass legislature said no to?
Exactly.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's why that was my first one out of the gate.
Yeah.
The one at the Massachusetts House and Senate said, hey, go pound sand. We're going to give all our friends the money. So he gave a rebate to all the citizens. He's got he's cut jobs. He's created a massive, amount of saved money. And all his promises about schools and things, he's keeping his promises. Now listen, I'm not saying just because he's a Republican that he's going to continue to do this, because we know about politicians. But this shows that if you kick them out and put somebody else in and made a bunch of promises, that they know they have to keep those initial promises, as Youngkin did. Now he's got to keep doing that, because if he doesn't, they're going to kick him out. See, that was the genius of our forefathers. But they didn't think that the people would become so apathetic like the Roman citizens did, and they stopped voting. Actually, Theodore Roosevelt gave a speech about that. He said one of the reasons for the fall of the Roman Empire was the great Roman people stopped voting.
Right.
And they let the politicians run the government. And this is what we see. We see what's happening on the federal and the state and on a local level. These people can't stop spending money. They don't, and they will do that. And complaining does nothing about it. What you got to do, get some candidates, and when these candidates make promises to you, give them a chance. Throw these bums out. Remember the two tax breaks we were going to get from Paul? We never got those, did we?
Nope.
Matter of fact, we got tax increases.
That's right, because we had to pay for the $19,000 pay raises.
That's right, the $19,000.
Speaking of that $19,000 pay raise, what is this I hear that the fire department is bringing its vehicles to an outside vendor for repairs? Don't we have mechanics that we're paying a lot of money to?
They may have been the people that got some massive pay raises, as a matter of fact, too. Police, fire. But this is a look, again, this is government at its best.
I know, we have mechanics that don't do anything.
You give people pay raises, and you cut their responsibility. Well, it's not only there. Look at the law department. We got a law department. I think the only guy in the law department that does anything, and it's not much, but it's Gary Howiak.
Yeah, exactly.
Gary Howiak, I know he does the workman's comp. So what do? Workman's comp and potholes. Anything else of any consequence is farmed out.
Right.
So you're going to pay them like they're real lawyers, and they don't have to do anything. That's government.
And your friend got a job there recently too.
Who's that? Oh, she's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they recycled her, yeah. Mary O'Neill.
Yes.
Yeah, Mary O'Neill. She used to be there under Eddie Lambert.
Right.
That's the one that was in Boston when at the Civil Service Commission, when the Civil Service Commissioner told her that we won our grievance, and he told her that they had to make the man, otherwise they had to come up on Friday for a hearing, and he was going to order him. And she said, well, I don't know if the man can make it. And the Civil Service Commissioner looked at it and said, well, if he's not here at 9 o'clock in the morning and you don't follow my order, which is a suggestion now, but will be an order, she said, I'll have the state police arrest him and bring him up here in handcuffs. So she didn't know what to say to that. But what did happen is the next day, the promotion that they've been holding back for nearly a year, the individual got the promotion, we won the grievance. But this is government. But you're right. Listen, this is nothing new. We never did anything major.
No.
In police, fire. This is why years ago, see, government doesn't operate like real business. They just got garage, police, fire, DPW. You remember years ago, back in the Stone Age, when somebody was calling for a central garage?
Yeah.
Well, how much money would that have saved? You give a $19,000 pay raise to one guy that runs the one department, and you get another $19,000 raise or whatever raise they got to run the other department, and you got 5 chiefs and 6 Indians, and they're all making big money. You think a centralized garage would be smart? Because guess what? A diesel engine's a diesel engine.
And you know what's interesting is they keep saying, what can we use the Lewiston Street site for? The old incinerator.
Yep.
I mean, that's a big footprint.
It's
a big footprint. You could put a centralized garage there.
Yeah.
I mean, after all, they got the gas there already, so I mean.
Yeah, and if you actually had a centralized garage and you took those, I don't know how many various head mechanics they have in all the various departments. If you looked at their salaries and their benefits, you could hire the best diesel mechanic in the world.
Right.
To do everything virtually in-house. At least 95% of it in-house. Granted, there may be something that you have to send it back to the factory or something, but realistically, I mean, it's absurd. But that's what they do. They waste your money. No, and the council sits there, and the only one that ever questions it is Michelle Dion.
Right.
They just sit there and go, oh, pay raise. Oh, yeah, this guy, we're going to give this guy a big pay. He's in charge of all this stuff, and they're not. You're right. I drove by, was coming back down North Main Street, and I did see a fire department ambulance in a diesel shop down there, because listen, when I was on there, they sent the trucks out. If it was more than, changing plugs and oil and, they don't do any major mechanical stuff. They never did. As a matter of fact, at one time, we had 3 people apply for the master mechanic's job in a fire department. One guy actually was a diesel mechanic. He had his own business on the side. And we had 2 other guys. So who did they get? Not the diesel mechanic. They got a guy whose background was he used to run a catering business.
And let me guess, he was politically connected. Imagine that.
What a surprise, right?
What a surprise.
So this is it. Come to government, be so poorly qualified you can't get a job in private industry first, and you can't get a job in a town that actually requires some merit to get your paycheck. Come to these places and you get your job, and what you do is you get 5 different assistants, and they keep paying you even if you're not qualified. I believe that our new auditor came from Bridgewater, and she was not an auditor in Bridgewater, I don't believe. So again, we've got an auditor with virtually no auditing experience, at least being the head auditor, but I don't think she was even an auditor. But this is what we do. Ice House, remember the Ice House guard? That was going to be the...
How about the guy that last job was Radio Shack? Yeah. Okay. And he,
Yeah.
And he got $70,000 or $80,000 a year for a do-nothing, no-show job.
Yep. But, you know, people, if this doesn't irritate you, you got to get the loonies out. Look, and you can't blame the mayor. He doesn't know any better. This is his entire life. He's been on the public dole his entire life.
Right.
He went to work. It didn't matter whether he performed or not. He wasn't getting fired. He never made principal, but he still got a paycheck and a pretty damn good one his whole life, as does many other people. And, you know, the fact is that we have an underperforming educational system. There are a lot of good teachers. Where's all the money going? Deans of students, stuff like that. We don't make a value. It should be performance-based. You don't perform, you lose your job. You know, we've had an underperforming school department for decades now. And all we do is keep giving them more money, letting them create more positions. There's nobody minding the store. The school committee is got their head up their derriere. The city council, absent Michelle Dion, who's the only one that pays attention, they all just nod their heads, and some of them make a nice impassioned speech and then vote the wrong way. But this has got to stop. Remember what they did in Virginia. They elected Youngkin. Youngkin made promises. His first day in office, he began to execute those promises. He began to put them into play. And they're fighting them tooth and nail, the Democrats. They got a Democratic legislature. They're fighting them tooth and nail. But you know who's benefiting? The people. The people of Virginia, because they put somebody in and said, you do this and you might stay in office. This is what we've got to do here. We can't have our legislators going to Boston and saying, don't give them a rebate. Don't give them a break.
Give me a pay raise instead.
Give me a pay raise. Give all my friends money.
That's it.
And the hell with those people. We don't care about those people. And I'm going to tell you how lunatic these people are. These left-wingers, the progressives. That's a euphemism. I got another word for them. It starts with an A and ends with an E. Yeah. So if you do crossword puzzles, you might be able to figure it out. This is true. And I heard it this morning. I almost choked on my breakfast. You know, they brought the three transgenders who identified as women and impregnated women in the prison. They're coming up for trial. And you know that a state legislator, one of the ones who actually passed the legislation to allow transgenders to go into these prisons. You don't see a lot of women trying to get into a men's prison.
Right.
You know, you see a lot of men trying to get into women's prison. You know what he actually said? This is true. And it's just, I almost can't say it. He said you can't prosecute them because they're women. Yeah, that's what I said.
I'm like, I'm confused here. What?
No. This is how convoluted their brains are. These people got pudding for brains. They got so much money to eat too much $15 a pint ice cream and sit around and pretend that you can be anything you want. I got up today, I thought I was a unicorn, so I'm a unicorn. Okay? You can be anything you want. This guy believes that what you identify is your biological, trumps biology. So this guy's got the plumbing, and he's got the sperm count, these three people, to impregnate a woman, but this guy says if he believes he's a woman, even though he's behaving like a man, he's a woman, so you can't prosecute him. How do you elect somebody like that? How do you keep somebody like that in office? What in the hell is going on here? I mean, these people are crazy, and they're running the government. They're absolutely crazy. You can't prosecute them because they're women. Well, I hate to tell this guy this, but women are also capable of rape, too.
That's right.
They can rape another woman.
That's right. They can also rape a man.
That's right. A lot of that happens. You worked in a prison. There were a lot of that. You saw a lot of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these people are just, you can't argue with them because they have no ability for critical thinking. This is a cult. It's a religion for them. It's like they believe in this so much that they're women. No, they're not women. I hate, biologically, listen, you can identify as anything you want. There was one that identified as what the hell did she identify? She was a goddess, whatever that is. Okay, maybe she was a Greek. I don't know. She was a goddess, but she was a goddess. Then had another one that identified as I don't know, maybe a unicorn or something like it. Look, I don't care what you want to think you are. You want to identify as. That's your chosen identity. It's not your biology. I'm sorry. You cannot, X chromosomes, Y chromosomes. You took genetics.
Yep.
I took genetics. I don't care what they identify as. The fact is that we got 3 women impregnated, who, by the way, the state's going to pick up the tab for those children.
That's right.
Forever.
That's right.
You and I, the taxpayer, are going to pick up that tab for that. And this pinhead, you can't prosecute them because they're women. No, they're not women. Or and if it goes to the Supreme Court, I know one is going to vote in his favor because she said, I can't identify. I'm not a biologist. Mm-hmm. So I can't identify a man or a woman. We're talking about biological, status.
Right.
Not your identity. You want to paint yourself purple and think you're Bonnie. I don't care.
I identify as a Baby Ruth bomb this week.
There you go. Okay.
You know why?
Why?
Because it's full of nuts, and so am I.
But I mean, let's we circle back, as Jen Psaki used to do, to Virginia. What has Virginia become? The prototype case to tell the rest of these people. They did it in Seattle, which was mind-boggling. They took out 3 progressives in that lunatic asylum. They took out Chesa Boudin in San Francisco. The pendulum is beginning to swing. People are beginning to wake up, go to the polls, and throw these people out. Fall River's always like 5 years after everybody in everything, but let's not take 5 years. You're feeling the crunch of the inflation. You're feeling the crunch at the gas pumps, and nobody cares. Our mayor just throws money around like a drunken sailor, and just pay raises for everybody, shortened hours, different hours. I'm going to get you out of here early. It's not about servicing the public. It's about having a good time.
Yeah.
And as you said, when we had those extended hours, there were a lot of people that were very, very happy because they did not have to, take a half a day off from work to go do some business now.
Exactly. And, it's tough. I mean, because as you're saying, the pendulum's starting to swing. And you're right. In Fall River in Massachusetts, everything swings 10 years later. But we need to start looking at this and looking at it in a realistic point of view. When Kamala Harris came here yesterday, she came here to sit on an abortion rights panel with the governor. And she said that the rest of the country should follow Massachusetts' lead because what Massachusetts has done is the framework of what should be done throughout the country. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying she's wrong. But why did she come to Massachusetts? It wasn't for that. No. She just wanted to make an appearance because she came to Massachusetts to go to Martha's Vineyard to raise money for the Democratic Party, who is now using the vote in Kansas to shut down the Republican Party. And last night when I was watching TV, I saw an ad. Wasn't for any candidate. It just kept saying, vote Democrat, vote Democrat, vote Democrat, vote Democrat. I was like, what is this?
Well, they're going back to the old days when they used to send everybody cards. Remember?
Right.
When they were in unions?
Yep.
And they would have all the Democratic candidates. And
you mean like Paul did?
This is who you vote for.
Yeah, like Paul did.
Yeah, well, he's got some people here that are from the the Stone Age like us. So, but the reality is that you're right. I mean, they're using this. She went there to talk about this because this is the only thing they're going to run on in the midterms.
Exactly.
She went there to say that we're the crown jewel in that. And listen, it's a very, very controversial topic. Everybody, and the problem is that we have a society who obviously in Kansas, there are a lot of people who, and I don't think that's going to really affect the Kansas vote per se, because if you look at what's really critical, they think that this is going to save them. It's not. I mean, it's going to, look, they don't need saving in Massachusetts and in California.
No.
And in East Place. They don't need, I mean, you could be the reincarnation of, you could be the love child of Adolf Hitler and Genghis Khan's daughter, and you'd get elected if you were a Democrat in the state of Massachusetts.
Exactly.
Because that's ridiculous. But I mean, in the real states, they've already classified what's important to the voter. They've already done hundreds of polls. Inflation, gas prices, food prices, all the issues that affect the pocketbook, shrinking wages. The fact is that they say, oh, everybody's wages have increased. They have not increased enough to keep up with inflation.
No, and
they've increased 4%, and inflation's 9%.
Right.
So they got a 5% net loss on their wages.
And now the House and the Senate are meeting to pass a bill that's going to reduce inflation, but increase spending.
Yeah, well, yeah, well, again,
and guarantee tax breaks for the public.
Yeah.
Number one, those tax breaks you're not going to see. You're not going to see them until you file your taxes, and even then, you may not see them. You just look at what happened, and they're running on this. They're running on this, saying this is going to cut inflation. This is the propaganda. The propaganda is this: gas went up how much? $2 a gallon?
Over that.
Over that, okay? It went down 50 cents, and what did the president say? I brought gas down 50 cents. Look at how low the price is going. No, gas isn't down 50 cents. It's up $2.50. Yeah. It's still up. Don't fall for the bull. Don't fall for the propaganda, because while gas may be coming down, it's still higher than it was a year ago, much higher. And that's what you need to look at. You need to look at the truth. I bought a turkey sandwich recently. A turkey sandwich, a large one, a little more than 12 inches. I bought it from a local business with mayo, lettuce, and bacon on it. $17. $17.
Yeah, well, I paid $17 for a King burger at Burger King. So,
right.
But this is the con. Raise it up 5, and when you go down to 4, everybody's happy. But the thing is that you can't believe the con. It's a con. Remember one thing: 2 out of 3 people in the United States right now live in paycheck to paycheck. That says it all. Liars can figure, but figures don't lie, if you look at them objectively. But remember that liars can always figure.
It's tough. I mean, when you go to the market, you see it. I went yesterday. I picked up a couple of 6-packs of soda, $13. A couple of 6-packs of soda, $13.
Yeah, it's insane.
Okay. I looked at a steak, a simple steak, $20 a pound, and its steak didn't even look that good.
It's crazy.
I mean, how are people supposed to afford it? And rents are going up. I mean, in Rhode Island, they did a study, and they're showing that rents are increasing by 60, 70%.
Yeah.
That's outrageous. One gentleman was on TV. He said, my rent was $600, and now it's $1,300. I can't afford that.
Paul doesn't care.
No, of course not. After all, guess what he said? What can I do? Well, everyone, I want to thank you all for watching. I want you to have a great, safe weekend. Remember, it's going to be hot all weekend. It's going to feel like 100 degrees. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Monday.
And stay...